Good morning. Hello, everyone. I hope you're doing well. It's a little chilly in here this morning, so I had to break out my husband's old PT shirt. I'm excited for this morning. This is our Friday morning live show, so it's the 5th day in a row that we've come together in the morning, or whenever you're able to catch the replay. And today is part 3 of breaking down anger. So I'm just going to jump right in and comment, give me some hearts and thumbs and laughs and sad faces if you feel sad. Let me know how I'm doing. Let me know what you think of the show. So, again, breaking down anger. We started with talking about how anger can be momentum for healing and saying that I am going to heal no matter what. I won't give up. I won't let my abuser win. So that's our mantra. That's what we're working towards. And so today, again, just jumping right in. If you missed yesterday's live stream, please go back and watch it. And that's part 2 of breaking down to anger, because I started going through some prompts and stuff in the workbook. And if you haven't joined us before, we're working out of the Courage to Heal. So, like I said, if you missed yesterday's, I would highly suggest you jump back and watch that one first. We talk about kind of where we learn our habits for dealing with anger first, and how we kind of have to dismantle those and kind of deconstruct it a little bit, take it apart, look at it, say, is this truly me? Or did I maybe adopt this from my mom? Or is this truly me? Or did I maybe adopt this from my dad or from my sister or from maybe even your abuser? I knew my abuser, my most abusive abuser, for a very long time. I met him when I was 10 or 11, and I didn't leave him until I was 21. So it was a pretty good chunk of time. So you learn things from people. It's said that you are the combination of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So if you're spending a lot of time with these people, especially at an impressionable age, you're going to end up picking up things from them. So again, yesterday's part 2 was really starting to do some of the journal work. And again, I'm not a counselor, psychiatrist, psychologist, any of those things. I'm just a survivor who's gotten a lot of progress out of following these steps. So the last one we talked about yesterday was when I get angry at someone, what do you do? What do you do when you feel angry at someone? How do you react to that? What actions physically do you take? What do you not do? How do you feel when that anger arises, other than anger, because obviously. But what's going on with you? What's happening? And then, so right after that, today's new prompt is, I am angry at myself for. And then you finish the sentence. What are you angry at yourself for? Try to take a second to think about it. Like, when you think about your past and try to see what actions have taken place, and try to remove yourself directly from maybe your perspective, but see it as as much as you possibly can from like a 360 perspective, a 360 foot view all the way up, 3,000 feet, whatever. So for me, for example, I am angry at myself for not seeing what was happening to me. The manipulation and abuse. I always thought I was so smart. As a kid, I always thought I was so smart. That I knew everything. I thought I was just like this little sponge who would sit there with all of the adults at the parties my mom and dad would have and just absorb all the knowledge that they were that these 21-year-old drunk people and people on drugs were spewing out. But I wasn't that smart. I was book smart, but I wasn't that smart. So that's mine. I don't feel so angry at myself, and like I said, I'm a little further than this, but I really wanted to start at the beginning of the chapter. But that's an example for you guys of like, I'm angry at myself for not seeing what was happening to me was manipulation and abuse. And I always thought I was so smart. But really, you have to dissect that too. Like, why are you angry at yourself? So you want to flip that. You don't want to be angry at yourself, especially for something that you couldn't control. I couldn't control the manipulation and abuse. It was because I sat with all of those people and saw how much people didn't care about each other and saw how much my parents were neglecting me and how much I wasn't able to express my true emotions or have the love that I needed from my parents, that I was susceptible to the manipulation and abuse that was brought onto me by an abuser who was extremely tactical, and that was not my fault. So really taking a look at it and allowing yourself the freedom to say, I am angry at myself for this, but then also having someone or yourself on the other side of that playing the devil's advocate of being like, okay, that's good that you acknowledge that, but here's why you shouldn't be angry at yourself, because it wasn't your fault. And that's the basis of all of these, really, for you and for the anger is you can't be angry at yourself. You shouldn't be angry at yourself because it wasn't your fault. It wasn't your fault. Be angry at your abuser. Be angry at your parents who were neglectful. Be angry at your caregivers who were neglectful or who were your abusers. You can't be angry with yourself. You can't. I've turned anger in on myself by neglecting myself in appearance, food, and healing. I've let those thoughts of like, I was stupid, I can't believe that I didn't see what was happening, I can't believe that I let that happen. If you keep those negative thoughts in, you will start to actually act on them. And I would punish myself and say, like, in my subconscious, I would believe that, like, I'm not worthy of looking good. I'm not worthy of nourishing my body. I'm not worthy of healing because honestly, like, it was my fault. I shouldn't have done this. I shouldn't have done that. And that's what perpetuates the cycle of what can be abuse, but really and the most important part is like the depression and the cycle of staying, I don't want to say broken, but hurting, staying a victim, honestly, because at that point you're a victim of yourself. The next one is turning anger inward has hurt me because, so thinking about the ways that you've turned the anger in on yourself, for example, my, not wanting to nourish myself what does that hurt? How has that hurt you? How is turning that anger inward hurt you? And for me, I'm not the one to blame. Like, hurt me because it wasn't allowing me to see that I wasn't the one to blame. It was keeping me in that mindset. Or it was keeping me from nourishing myself, and I was getting weaker and weaker and weaker. It also was, keeping me feeling really down about myself, and so I wasn't taking care of myself. I wasn't putting my best face forward. I wasn't taking care of myself at all. And so even with that, in the most basic aspects of, like, even if you're a survivor and you're still trying to be a high functioning survivor and go to work full time and have the regular life and do the things that you want to do, the thing is if you're not taking care of yourself and you're not putting your best foot forward and you're very angry with yourself, naturally you're going to stunt some of the opportunities that are presented to you. You're going to halt them because certain people are going to see that you not taking care of yourself isn't good, because it's not good. And that is a key indicator that something is wrong. So it's important. This work is important. However you decide to heal and whatever you decide to do is important, because you're important. Because you're worth it. Yeah. And it's not your fault. I've misdirected my anger towards others by, again, so you can hold it in, or you can lash out at other people. Both of those are not very helpful to you. So how have you misguided or misdirected your anger towards other people? What ways have you taken the anger that should be directed directly at your abuser or the people who have enabled your abuse? How have you taken that and actually misguided it to other people? For me, it's letting my anxiety get the best of me. Not being fully present with my husband or with my family. Isolating myself. Just completely removing myself from the situation. Sleeping for days. I turned that anger in on everybody else because I just couldn't do it. Being short with people, being snappy. Those are ways that I've misdirected my anger. Excuse me. So let me know, what do you think are ways that you have misdirected anger towards others? Not necessarily yourself, but other people in your life. The next part is the misdirected anger has hurt me because. So in what ways has directing your anger at your spouse or your significant other or your parents or your siblings or your boss or whoever, Samson, no. So my example is it's caused me to distance myself from those that I love. It's hurt my husband so many times, and he doesn't deserve it. I give myself an excuse to overreact when something is wrong. So that's how this misdirected anger has hurt me. It's hurt me because it's hurting the people that I love. So this misdirected anger has hurt other people because they mostly just want to love me. And I tend to make it very difficult by shutting myself off from others. And when people want to love you and you're rejecting that and you're saying, no, sorry, can't accept it because I'm not worthy. When they think you're worthy, that's very hurtful. And I know we want to put ourselves at first as the priority. But if there's somebody in your life that you're already committed to or you already love or you're already connected to, you have to allow them to give you that love that they want to give you. Because that's a part of life. It's a beautiful part of life. It's one of the best parts of life. So what do you think? How has your misdirected or misguided anger hurt other people? How has it hurt you? How have you directed that anger at other people? I used anger effectively when I directed the anger towards my abuser and screamed it out in my pillow or cried in my blanket. I've taken some anger and directed it towards other abusers, like my very first abuser, my mom and dad, who were neglectful to me. My aunt, who actually, as soon as the abuse from my second abuser started, was taking me to my grandparents' house and told me that, she told me some inappropriate things that really made it pretty clear that she understood what was going on. And she didn't necessarily think that it was a problem for anybody but me, and that anybody else was to blame but me. And she made that pretty clear, and then handed me a Bible. So, yeah. So you can direct it at those people who have enabled the abuse, who saw it from afar, didn't say anything. That's where it's healthy. Ways anger has been empowering to me. And it's been empowering to me, for example, by allowing me to feel more powerful. It has me more mentally organized. I feel like having my emotions in check and understanding exactly where my anger is going helps me stay mentally organized, stay focused. I physically feel lighter, and I feel better connected to others, especially those, like I said, who had nothing to do with it, who are just a part of your life and who are there around you because they love you and they want to be with you. It's allowed me to accept love into my life, so it's been extremely empowering to me. But as long as it's focused at the right people. So, the last one for today is, I'd like to use my anger too. So here's that motivation part. Here's the momentum. You can channel the anger, pull it out of yourself, redirect it at your abuser, and use that momentum to do something. What are you going to do with it? That's the beauty. That's the beauty of it. I'd like to make an impact on the world and those around me who have also been affected by childhood sexual abuse or sexual abuse in general. And so that's why I'm doing this. That's why I started this group, and that's why I'm doing these lives every weekday morning for you guys, because that's how I'm directing my anger. I'm using it to say, it ain't happening to me no more, and it's not happening to anybody I can have connection with anymore. And we're going to teach them how to heal so that they can heal themselves, and then if they have children, they can heal their children, and thus their children will be much less likely to be victims of sexual abuse, and their children will be much less likely to be victims of sexual abuse. And so you break the cycle, you break the chain. And that's my goal. And that's what you can do. Whatever you want to do, you can use it as momentum from the anger. You can use that momentum and propel yourself forward into whatever positive way that you desire, whatever you want to do. I've used my anger to paint one of my favorite pictures. I'm going to show it to you real quick. I think I've posted it on my wall before, but I want to show you guys again. It's one of my favorites. So how cool is that? So you take it, and you can take the anger and sadness and make something beautiful. And as sad, and it's sad because she's crying, right? As sad and dark as that is, this picture makes me smile every time I see it, because I feel proud, and I did that. And I put my energy into something that makes me smile. So I encourage you to find something. It doesn't have to be painting. It doesn't have to be screaming into a pillow. It can be whatever you want. It can be running. It can be going to like a destruction room where you can totally destroy like a bunch of glass and different things in a confined room where it's safe. If you have that in your area, you can have a place in my area called Flying Axes, where you take actual axes and you throw them at a board. Those are all ways to get the anger out physically, which is, anger is a physical emotion. It really is. It can manifest in different ways, but to get it out, it really is helpful to do something physical. So I hope you all enjoyed this and got something out of it. Again, I just would really love for you guys to take these questions and prompts and think about them and break it down. That's the whole point of it. It's so big and so complex that you're not going to understand it just looking at it. You have to dissect it. You have to get in there. You have to see the parts and see the components in order to really understand what's going on. And it's so important, and it's such an important part of your healing. So you are worthy, you are strong, and you are capable. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will come back at you on Monday. So have a good weekend.